How many of you trust me? Okay, there was some pity trust in there. I see it. You're all on camera. I'll review this later. Okay, no, hands up. How many of you trust me? Okay, how many of you trust me with your life? Okay, my wife does. I'm going to put her to the test here. I'm going to get you to come forward here. It's too late. You already volunteered. For life or death. There's a saying in there, isn't there? You can step up here. Okay, there are 3 stages in trust. Okay, the first stage is the claim. Now, Stephanie has claimed that she trusts me. So much so that she trusts me with her life. Now, Stephanie, I'm going to get you to turn around.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
So Stephanie is going to fall straight, but you could jump if you want. I'm going to catch her. That's a second stage. Okay, we're going to have a code word so you don't do it while I'm talking to them, okay? If I yell bacon strips, then I need you to fall backwards. I'm going to stand here just in case she does. Okay. The second stage of trust is putting that trust into action. So Stephanie falling backwards is the action component of it. And the third stage is relief. So no matter how much she trusts me, no matter how much she says she trusts me, there is complete relief when I catch her. You can have trust that you studied for a test. You can have trust that the person driving beside you isn't going to crash into you. But there's still relief when what you put your trust in actually pans out. Okay, you ready? Turn around. I'm on a time crunch here. Okay. 1, 2. I'm not going to make you do it. Bacon strips! No, okay. You can go take a seat. It's not the first time I've made my wife cry. The Israelites trusted in God. And we see that because when they put the blood of the lamb on the doorposts, they trusted in God, saying, "We are not following Pharaoh anymore. We are following you, God. We're putting our trust in you." And then when they were led out of Egypt, we see them beginning to fall. When they're in front of the Red Sea, they're in complete midair. They don't have a choice anymore. And when the Red Sea opens and they're able to cross it, they start to feel the hands start to catch them. They're not in full relief yet. And then when they cross the Red Sea, and when the waters crash in on the Egyptians, then they have this sense of relief. This complete relief that they have been caught, that they put their trust in the right place. And what do they do with that is they actually rejoice. Moses and Miriam, they start to sing a song. They start to lead the Israelites in singing a song praising God. Buckner says that worshiping the Lord was Israel's transition to a new existence. They're now a free people. God is their king. They're out in the wilderness. It's the end of 400 years of trauma, where the majority of those years they were in slavery. 400 years. And how do they finish it off? They begin to worship God. Now, it initially looks like they are praising God for the act that He has just done, for helping them cross the Red Sea. But it's not just a celebration of that. Everything that they're doing is pointing to God, bringing glory to Yahweh. They're celebrating who God is. They're celebrating his character. This is a great summary of who God is. And it's actually a great summary of the whole book of Exodus, is this song right here. Verse 16, when it says, the people that you bought, that word can also mean created. It can also mean paid severely for. Those people that you paid severely for, you are not going to give up on them. You will continue to be faithful to them. This poetry is broken into two segments. The first two stanzas are talking about the things that God has done in the past, proving that he has been faithful in the past. But the last stanza is actually prophecy of what's going to happen. God, because we know your character, you weren't just faithful in the past, you will continue to be faithful. Verses 12 and 13 themselves, you stretch out your right hand and the earth swallows your enemies. That just happened at the Red Sea. In your unfailing love, you will lead the people you have redeemed. In your strength, you will guide them to your holy dwelling. It's beautiful. There's a Hebrew oral tradition that revolves around this story. It's not biblical. It's all through oral tradition. But I like how it shows the character of God. See, when I've heard this story growing up, I've always cheered for the Israelites. And when the Red Sea crashed in on the Egyptians, we celebrate, right? Because in a good story, the good guys win and the bad guys get what they deserve. But in this oral tradition, we have the heavenly hosts. They gather together and they start to praise God and rejoice. And God comes to them and says, "Why are you praising so joyfully?" And they reply, "Well, because you've just delivered your children Israel." And the Lord rebukes them. And he says, "Are not the Egyptians my children also? I'm sorry that they did not come to salvation. I am sorry that they did not hear my word. I'm sorry that they had to be destroyed." I love how much that points to the character of God. And that's a powerful story to this particular Bible story, but it's also a powerful story for what we as Christians are called to do. I wish that they had heard my word and turned towards me. This song is a powerful poem about God's character and the accomplishments he has done in the past that proves who he is, that proves that he is faithful, that he hurls their enemies into the sea. And it's quoted many times. Throughout Scripture, we see this song continuously looked back at. And the last time that we see it is in Revelation 15, verses 1 to 4. And John is talking about how much greater God is. How much greater God is than Satan. And hurling into the sea. This song of Moses and Miriam could be sung by us today, talking about how much greater is God than our enemies, how much greater is God than everything that we come across, and he hurls it into the sea. The people of Israel trusted in God. They claimed their trust when they put the blood of the lamb on the doorpost. And when they were stuck between the Egyptian army and the Red Sea, they were in mid-fall point. And some of them doubted. Actually, many of them doubted. And we see them complaining to Moses, "Did you bring us out here to die?" And then when the sea opened, there was that slight bit of relief. They could feel the hands, and like I said, once they crossed it and the sea came in, they had complete relief. We have put our trust in the right person. Wherever we are in life, we are in one of those three stages. Maybe things are going well, and you're standing here saying, "God, I trust you. Use me. Please." Maybe things are going really, really bad, and things are really difficult and hard. And you're wondering if God is going to catch you at the end of your fall. You think you've fallen too far. You think you've been falling for too long. And you don't have your feet on solid ground anymore. And you're not sure what's at the bottom. Or maybe you're in the third stage where you're just feeling the slight relief. You realize that you are going to get caught. And you're celebrating. You're rejoicing, just like Moses and Miriam, because you realize you've put your trust in the right place. Wherever we are in those three situations, we are called to do the same thing. We're called to look at things like this song and remember the faithfulness of God. That He has been faithful in the past, that He is faithful in the present, and He will continue to be faithful in the future. We look at His character because His character shines through everything. This is who God is. And He cares for us so much that His character shows so much that He extends a hand out to us. More so than that He extends His Son to us so that we might have life. The gospel is an outpouring of who God is. God provides. I'm going to invite Josh and Michael. They're going to come into the baptismal tank here. We're going to witness a baptism today. And baptisms are a public declaration of our commitment to Christ. Similar to the Israelites, Josh is by the water. And he's going to hurl all of those things, that fear, that doubt, into the water. And he's going to come up new. And if you catch it in the song, it said, "with a powerful and mighty hand." We've talked about that multiple times through this series, and it's been brought up. The powerful and mighty hand of God. Now, just because Josh is getting baptized, it doesn't mean that it's easy. It doesn't mean that there won't be temptation. What it's meaning is that he's willing to be here and saying that he's setting his eyes on God. He's making a commitment to you, to himself, to God, that he is setting his eyes on God. He's putting his hand up and saying, "God, I trust you. Use me." And when he does use us, we are called to remember that faithfulness. The faithfulness of God in the past, present, and future. In his character, he will catch you. So I want to invite you. I know we have a piano and some drums here. If you can't see and want to see, I would invite you to come to the middle here. Kids, if you want to come to the front couple rows and sit and watch, you are more than welcome to do that. It's an important time. It's an important thing to partake in. And I loved what Wayne prayed for. That's exactly what I was thinking as well. This is not just for Josh today. This is a reminder for us of our baptism, of the commitment that we made in front of everybody else, that we are setting our eyes on God, that we are setting our eyes to worship Him, to trust in Him. And so we have some bowls at the front of the stage. If you want to come during the service, after the service, dip your hand in, dip your finger in. It's the same water that Josh is going to be baptized in, just to remind yourself of the commitments that you made. To keep your eyes on Christ, to follow Him, to remember His faithfulness. And as we sing these next couple of songs in a little bit, remember that Moses and Miriam came out and began to worshiped God's faithfulness, that He was there, that He caught